This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, welcome again for Isha Training Solution, guys. Yeah, this is Saravanan, who is going to take you through for this performance engineering uh, course journey. So basically, this is our the course content. Here, how we are going to learn with respect to each and every layer. Say what is the current problem statement and what is the solution that we are going to do. The problem statement is that every performance tester or a developer or an infrastructure people are they are doing their own stream of work. Say a developer who is doing their work, they are not doing a proper unit testing and they are not properly getting their output in respect to the performance aspect. Similarly, an infrastructure guy who will not tell if I do this activity, how it is going to impact the performance. Even the performance testers, when they are doing their testing, they are getting the average response time or the hits per second or the throughput, right? They are not in a position to say where this particular time spent. Say if they are getting 5 seconds as a response time, they cannot say 1 second spent in browser, 2 seconds spent in app server, 2 seconds spent in DB server, like that. They are not in a position to explain that logic. So what we are bringing in here as a performance engineer, we should learn each and everything. In this course journey, you can easily understand we are covering the DB side, we are covering the infrastructure side, we are covering the application side, we are covering the client side performance side. Like that, we are covering each and everything. So, just after this course journey completion, you will be in a position that you can identify or categorize is this a client side issue, or is this something Java application JVM issue, or is it something like a DB issue, or is it something that infrastructure is a problem? And in this course journey, we are also going to learn your performance monitoring tool also. So this is the entire course journey. Along with that, what we are going to bring you real world in experience, real life experience sharing. So what will I do? Whatever the things that I faced in my experience, so I'll share you those things to you. So I know in this forum there are people are already doing certain performance engineering activities, and there are people are performance testers who want to become like a performance engineer, and there are people are little fresh in this entire stream. So we are going to cover all in all, we are going to cover for everyone. There are people already doing performance engineering activity, means we are going to bring that knowledge more into performance engineering, how they can improve their knowledge in the performance engineering activities, what are all the tools, what are all the activities that they can do. Like that, those who are trying to move from performance testing to performance engineering, they are currently simulating a user load, right? They are running the test with so and so user load, and they are only providing the performance testing reports. But going forward, after this course journey, a performance testers can go beyond certain activities. Say like they can do say like they can add a Java arguments in their server startup file, and then they can capture the garbage collection, or they can instead of regularly they do infrastructure monitoring, right? They can go beyond that, they can do little more infrastructure monitoring with respect to the CPU, with respect to the memory. Like that, they can do the infrastructure monitoring. Or earlier they did not do the client side monitoring. Going forward, they can do the client side monitoring using this tools like GTmetrix, web page test, even Voicelo. Like that, you can do a client side performance monitoring. Or earlier they did not do any database monitoring. Going forward, they can do AWR report creation, ADDM report creation, ASH report creation. Like that, they can contribute in the way they are doing the work. So performance testers can also in this course journey, they can learn a lot of things. Like that, there are fresher people, they are wanted to learn performance engineering, means they can also do that, because in this course journey I am going to cover from the fundamentals till the report recommendation side, how we are going to do this activity, like that we are going to cover. So all in all, it is something like a fresher activity, or it will be like performance tester who is moving from performance testing to performance engineering. And also already there are people doing a minimum performance engineering activities, right? For everyone's benefit we are going to cover it. Yes. So what will I do? I'll take a pass here. You guys can ask me if you have any questions, please. No question.
Hi Srinivas, morning.
Hi.
Yeah, just want to check you for coming to monitoring tool. So Dynatrace, the only one we are going to learn here. If once join this course or any other tool, only one tool or any other tool also.
In for the APM side, application performance management side, we are covering the Dynatrace part, because we have separate course journey available in Isha for Dynatrace and App Dynamics. So that in detail you will learn everything over there, right? Separate stream. But we want to have the performance engineer to at least have a understanding of one performance monitoring tool. That is the reason we brought in this Dynatrace into the stream. Okay. But if you guys say, usually I how I will design my course journey is that, like, if people are interested to certain things, I'll try to add it up certain things. Okay, it is not that whatever mentioned in the website only we are going to learn. Sometimes if people are interested, or they are asking this can be added also, we'll do that. So if you wish, I'll give you a very little brief understanding of App Dynamics also, high level understanding, because if you are adding it up too much of things, the course journey duration will be extended like anything. So what will I do? We'll see Dynatrace predominantly, but I'll also bring you the knowledge of App Dynamics to you. Fine for you?
Yeah, Srinivas. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, sure.
So
Any further question, guys? Yeah, Afin, the duration that we plan, just those who are not talking, please go on mute, please. Yeah, Afin, answer to your question. It is planned to have minimum of 25 sessions. Okay, I think it'll go till 30 sessions, maybe 25 to 30. That is how we plan for the duration. I think. Fine for you? Yeah. Thank you, Afin. So basically, I'll walk you through this course content, and then we'll see a small bit of engineering activities. Okay. So basically, we are going to cover the performance engineering. Why performance engineering? Right. The question will be there. I know there are people in this forum who are already working in performance testing for 8 years, 10 years, like that, and then you feels like, okay, we reached to 10 years, but we need something has to be done little more. Then those will find the solution as performance engineering activities. Similar way, Java developer or a DBA person or a infrastructure monitoring people, they are doing their task for certain bit of period time, and then they feels like, no, what is our next thing we have to do? Those people also will come to performance engineering activities. And then there are people who are in the scratch level, but they'll think like, why don't we start performance testing? I'll also start performance engineering as a parallel activity, so that I'll over the period I'll become a strong performance engineer, right? So that is the way people are doing it. So first we should know the why performance engineering, and then performance engineering life cycle. See, each and every activity, say they'll say software development life cycle, SDLC. Okay, software testing life cycle, STLC. Say performance testing life cycle, PTLC. So like that you have a performance engineering life cycle also. So we'll see that when we are going for our course journey, I will explain the performance engineering life cycle and what are all the activities that will be done in each and every phase of that cycle. Okay, and then what activities usually performance engineer does? Okay, say right from the design review or the architecture preparation, how a performance engineer contributes to each and every phase of the journey. Say in development, how they are contributing, in testing, how they are contributing, in production monitoring, how they are contributing. Like that, I'll tell you the activities that are performed by the performance engineer. Okay, and then we are going to have a Java performance concept, say like architecture of JVM. I'll explain, and then how we are going to do the JVM monitoring, say with the tools like JConsole, JVisual VM, how we are going to do. So this JConsole, JVisual VM are the utility tools which are inside your JDK, right? JDK folder under the bin. You can see this JVisual VM and JConsole. Those two tools, how we are utilizing for the heap size sorry, excuse me, how we are going to utilize for the heap dump and thread dump, how we are going to trigger heap dump and thread dump, how we are going to understand, analyze your heap dump and thread dump. Those understanding we are going to get it. Say if I'm triggering a thread dump, how I can identify it's a daemon thread or non-daemon thread, which is actually using the user activity, which is currently running, which is currently waiting, which is currently blocked. Like that, we are going to have a thread dump understanding. Similarly, heap dump understanding, which is actually contributing a lot of memory. When there is a hang, when there is a crash, we are taking a heap dump. That time, how or which object is actually contributing for this hanging or crashing. Like that, we are going to understand the heap dump analysis. So heap dump and thread dump, we are going to learn using this JConsole and JVisual VM utility tools. Okay, and then I'm going to share my real-time experience. Along with that, these two tools are kind of a static monitoring tool, right? We are not going to have a very detailed understanding or source code integration. Those things are not possible. But for that, we are going to have one more commercial monitoring tool called YourKit. Okay, I have the YourKit tool with me, which is a commercial tool, and I will share the commercial tool with you guys also, so that you guys can deploy or install that commercial tool in your local machine, and then you can also simulate whatever the thing that I'm telling you, right? So that you can learn the concepts in a little detailed way. Okay, so I'll tell you guys, like this course journey, how is that? Like, it is not only like theoretical sharing or something like that. No, we are going to have a practical understanding. So I'll practically show you what will I do. Say I have a Apache Tomcat server in my machine. I have a sample application called JPET store. I'm going to inject or instrument the application, and then how the data is going to come, how we are going to monitor using JVisual VM or JConsole or YourKit or JProfiler. Like that, we are going to learn, guys. So I'll also share all these things to you, like sample application I'm going to share to you, and then what is the procedure in which you are going to install the Apache Tomcat server, I'm going to explain to you. And then say in this case also, I'm going to share the YourKit and JProfiler, the monitoring tool, so that you can install that. Physically you are going to install this profiling tool. Physically you are going to install the Apache Tomcat server and then deploy my application, and then I'm going to provide you certain activities. You are going to do that. In that you are going to do heap dump, thread dump, like that you are going to analyze this. So basically that is also going to happen. You are not going to hear something through my session and then you are not going to do anything or what. No, you are going to practically understand. You are going to practically do in my machine, and then practically you are going to practice in your machine also. If you are facing any problem, bring it on all your queries and clarification. We'll explain. If it is something specific to you and your organization, I'll over the phone or separately we can connect and explain, or that can be explained, should be explained into a forum people, so that everyone will get the benefit. Means I'll, in the class session itself, I'll explain each and everything. So that's the way we are going to learn. It's like a practical oriented performance engineering understanding we are going to have it. And also it is not that I'm going to mute everyone and then I'm going to have the session for 1 hour or something like that, and then I'm going to complete the session or what. No, in this course journey we are all are have the freedom to ask question, multiple question you can ask and then get it clarified, because it is like you are going to construct a building, you are going to have the basement strong. So here also you are going to become a performance engineer, means your basement should be very very strong. So ask your questions. Don't hesitate, like if I ask this question, how others will think, is it a silly question or what. Don't think like that. Please ask your questions, get it clarified, and then we'll move on. Okay, that is a way. It should not be a monologue session, it should be a dialogue session. You people will ask question, I'm going to answer for those questions. That is how we are going to go for this course journey, guys. So it will, I would say that's the way it will be healthy learning. So we'll do that. So next one will be the heap understanding. Say, I don't know how many of them in this forum knows like what is garbage collection, how it is working, kind of things and all. So we'll bring that knowledge. We are going to learn how garbage collection mechanism is basically working. What is young generation, what is old generation, hidden means what, survivor means what, like that we are going to have that understanding. We are going to learn that. Say, um, uh, till now any question, guys? Till now any question?
Hello, Srinivasan. Before this side.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people.
I just want that. Yeah. I found that you have found all the JVM applications are Java related applications. But if you found any .NET related application, then how are you going to find the performance engineering part in my Visual Studio or MS SQL Server, right? That.
Yeah, valid, Vibhu. Even we see the problem that we had is that like getting the sample application for the .NET one. So when we are preparing this course journey, we want each and everything that we are placing inside will be a practical oriented thing, right? You need to have an application, you are going to deploy it, and then you are going to do that, right? That's the way we planned. And I know that the Visual Studio, we stopped doing this supporting of this performance activities. That is how they are in their journey, they are going to do that. So it, which means that if you are earlier we prepared like that only, contributing .NET activities also, but we feel like getting the sample applications in .NET is also a little harder one, and then the support of Visual Studio will also be deprecated in the near future. So that's a main reason we did not incorporate it. But Vibhu, if you are saying like if you want to have something to be incorporated, uh, not in a practical way, but it is theoretical also, I'm fine. We'll definitely do
Right.
it, people. Okay, we'll
Right.
definitely do it.
At least,
I'm always welcoming people to contribute like this, so that we'll learn people. So we'll do that. We'll do that. But, if you wish, we'll
okay.
add the .NET concepts as well to do the performance engineering.
At least IIS server for details so that we can find lines
Yeah, that is
when the
already.
problems arise.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Um, uh, Afin, you are clarified, right? Yeah. You say it is not like you should have certain knowledge, then only you can learn this course or what. No, guys, please understand this. Uh, when I am going to tell you something, I always have that practice to start from the fundamental. I will not straight away jump into certain middle concept. No, I never done that. Say even now also when I was explaining, you could have realized I told you this Java concept that I'm going to bring in means what I told you. I will show you how to install the Apache Tomcat server, how to deploy my application. So where I'm coming, I'm going to the fundamental, because without having your application, without having your Apache Tomcat server, if I straight away explain certain things to you, how it will be practically useful for you, right? So that's the reason I'm bringing this knowledge. First, you should install Apache Tomcat server. You learn how to deploy a WAR file, and then you are going to access that application. How the garbage collection is going to happen, how you are going to add the Java arguments, like that I will explain, guys. During our course journey, I will explain each and everything so that you guys will get an understanding how each and everything is happening, why each and everything people are doing. If you are doing that, what will the outcome, like that you will get to know, guys. So don't we don't want to worry about that part, because we'll definitely learn everything, every aspect in a practical way. That's the way we also plan to do so. Okay. We are going to learn different garbage collection algorithms. I will explain the serial, parallel, concurrent, merge, sweep, and garbage first garbage collection. So that will be there, and then thread pooling concepts will be there, because in a pool of threads, how threads will be behaving, that concepts also we are trying to bring. And then thread monitoring, what is thread is doing. If the thread is like this, is it a normal condition, or is it a worrying condition? If it is a blocked thread, means what will I do? If it is running thread, means what will I do? Like that, we are going to have that understanding. And then JDBC connection pooling also we are going to learn, like uh, in a pool of how is the database connection going to establish, and then how the database connection pooling, how it is actually working, that also. And then I also mentioned thread dump analysis. Basically, this is very very important, guys. As a performance engineer, you should be knowing that how you are going to analyze your thread dump, how you are going to analyze your heap dump, how you are going to understand your garbage collection. Those three are very, very, very important. That understanding I'm going to bring in. And the out of memory, say somebody should understand what is memory leak and what is out of memory. Anybody can tell me a wild definition for what is memory leak?
Srinivas, I have a question here. When exactly this out of memory comes?
Yeah, because shall I call you as Bikash, or how
Pati,
will I?
PATSL.
Oh, Pati, we have to call you. Okay, okay, Pati. So, okay. So basically, when you're um, running a test, okay, when you're running a test, in your term, I'm saying, when you're running a test, or when you're launching this application, right? There are prerequisite activities we'll be doing it. Okay, we are going to enable certain things. We are adding certain things in the startup files, like that. each and everything will collect certain information, whether it may be a thread dump information or heap dump information or garbage information. Okay, in that space, in that understanding, we are going to after the post execution, we are going to analyze each and everything, and then we'll identify, okay, something related to thread issue, something related to heap issue, something related to garbage collection issue. Like that, we are going to understand it. There are two ways. Either there are times we will be strong in that field, so we'll straight away do the tuning of that activity, or else sometimes you will be specialized in something else, and then so in that case you will give the recommendation to the developer or the DBA person or whomever the issue related to them. You will give the recommendation and then make them to work that fine tune that activity. Okay, is it fine, Pati? Did I answer your question?
I mean, what is the reason? I was checking for reasons why we will get this out of memory.
Out of memory, say, yeah, say, I'll tell you. That is what I was about to do. Say, just a minute. Okay, so so there is a memory space is there. Okay, there is a memory space. Inside that, there are objects that are loading into the memory space. When you are accessing your application, the objects will be allocated inside the heap. Okay, so objects are allocated. Once the object full space is it is filled, means what will happen? There is a concept called garbage collection will be happening. Okay, garbage collection will be happening. So what this garbage collection will do, it will check the objects that are referenced or unreferenced. It is referenced or it is not referenced, kind of. So basically in this case, if I feels like this is not referenced and this is not referenced, okay, remaining three things are the remaining three objects are referenced, these two objects are unreferenced. Okay, so what will the garbage collection will basically do? This unreferenced objects will be cleared from the memory. Okay, this unreferenced objects will be cleared from the memory. Okay, which means that these three objects are referenced and it is not cleared by the garbage collection mechanism. Okay, garbage collection mechanism is not able to clear these three objects because it is all referenced objects. But in these three objects, there is a particular object. Okay, there is a particular object. It is retained in the application, but it never be utilized. Okay, it is retained in the application, but it is never be utilized. That object is called the memory leaked objects. Okay, this particular object is called as memory leaked objects because it is unable to clear by the garbage collection because that object is referenced. Even though the object is referenced, nowhere that object is utilized. That is called as memory leak, guys. Basically this is called as memory leak. Okay, similarly, if the same thing also, there is a memory space. Just a minute. There is a memory space. Okay, it is keep on accumulating with the objects. It is keep on accumulating with the objects in the memory space. Okay, and if you are not having sufficient memory space available inside to accumulate a new object inside the heap space, there is no sufficient space available for you to bring in one more object inside the heap space. That is called as out of memory. In that moment only out of memory is happening. Out of memory. So you do not, that I'll tell you during our course journey, I will tell you what are all the different types of out of memory. Out of memory itself having heap space, out of memory, lot of types are there. So I'll explain when we are going for our course journey, but on a high level, out of memory is this one. So you are unable to contribute or accumulate a new object inside the memory space. That is the reason we are getting the out of memory error. Did I answer your question?
Yes, Srinivas. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So basically, this is called as the memory leak and the out of memory. I'll during our course journey, I will execute a program, Java program, uh, through Eclipse. I will explain you when it is coming up with out of memory error and when it is actually doing a memory leak. Like that, we will be seeing through the example, guys. So we'll get that understanding when we are going for our regular course journey. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, so I'll come back to the topic. Yeah. So memory
One
out of
question.
memory.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, Manji Gowda.
So, so what you're telling is the if, if I ask you like what is the difference between memory leak and the out of memory, right? So memory leak causes the out of memory issue, right? Am I right?
Over the period. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Over the period.
If I ask you like exact difference or a single line difference between them, then what you will be telling?
Single line difference is this is what you say your garbage collection is unable to clear certain memory. That memory is nowhere utilized. That is memory leak. That memory leak, if you are kept under you are not monitoring that memory leak for a over period of time, that will lead to out of memory. Okay, but this is not the only thing reason for the out of memory. Out of memory, without the memory leak also out of memory will happen. What did I say? Say you are suddenly a traffic of people coming into the system. Okay, lot of objects are created without even any activity. That application will say out of memory also. Okay, it is need not be memory leak followed by out of memory. Okay, out of memory can be a standalone activity also, but memory leak, what I mentioned is that, like, once you are getting the memory leak over the period, that leads to out of memory. Fine for you, Manjigada?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So next one, we'll going to see the infrastructure monitoring, guys. This is also very important, because if you are a Windows Server application that you are having, you are going to do a performance counter understanding. So all these the counters, basically paging, swapping, all page falls, these that like that we are going to learn. And also if your application is a Linux server, so I'll show you in Linux machine how I'm going to collect, like say like vmstat, netstat, iostat, nmon. Nmon is a utility, guys. So we'll do that nmon utility in our Linux machine, and then we'll collect a metric that will be exported into a Excel format also. I'll show those examples and all when we are going for our the regular course journey. Anybody in this forum, can anybody say what is swapping and what is paging? Any idea, guys, what is swapping and what is paging?
Srinivasan, as per my understanding, no, the swapping in the sense, no, whenever no any application is running, first of all, it will utilize the virtual memory, right, or JVM, or whatever the JVM kind of memory. Once the heap will fill, it will try to access the hardware, no, hard drive resources. So that's called no, the swapping kind of.
Yeah, you're partially touching the answer, Narendra. Thanks for bringing that attempt at least to try that answer. I'll tell you, guys. Maybe see, there is a primary memory and then there is a secondary memory, right? Everyone knows that, like RAM and ROM, right? RAM and ROM. So say an example, sometimes the RAM is full means that will be stored into a ROM, right? Your physical secondary memory. So say an example, you have three programs are there. Example, program 1, program 2, and then program 3, like that. Okay, so sometimes what will happen, this RAM will call you certain program randomly, right, from the hard disk to the RAM, right? That time, say an example, your first program and the second program that you called in to the RAM, okay, but in order to call the third program, there is no sufficient memory in there is no sufficient memory in RAM, but it has to bring the third program to be executed. There is a request so that the third program should be executed, means there is a temp storage is there. Okay, there is a temp storage. In that, what it will do, it will move the program into the temp storage. Basically, what it will do, it will move that particular program into the temp storage. Okay, and then it will call the particular program from the ROM to your RAM. Okay, this concept is called swapping, guys. This is called a swapping. Basically, there are programs you want to execute in from ROM to the RAM, but RAM is not having sufficient memory, means temporarily what it will do, it will move the program from the RAM to a temp storage, and then it will call the program from the ROM, and it will execute that program, means that is called as swapping. Okay, and then if I similarly, if I want to explain the paging, means similar thing only, guys. No, nothing very big difference. The same RAM and same ROM. Okay, the programs that are stored inside the ROM, right? That programs, what will happen? It will store each and everything as a individual pages. Okay, each and everything as a individual pages. Just it will store each and everything as a individual pages. Just a minute. So the program 1 will be splitted into page 1, page 2, page 3. Okay, the program 2 will be splitted into page 1, page 2, page 3, like that. Okay, similarly, the program 3 will be page 1, page 2, page 3. Okay, so initially what will happen, it will try to call the program 1, right? Example, this program 1 pages are moved to your RAM. Okay, and then your program 2 are moved to RAM. Okay, suddenly if the RAM is not having sufficient memory to bring in the pages of the program 3, means, okay, what it will do, similar concept only, guys. What it will do, there is a temp memory, right? In that, it will move certain pages from the program. Say like in this 2 pages, it will move to the temporary memory, and it will move the certain pages from the ROM to the RAM, like that. So basically, what is this? It will also say an example. It may move certain page here, and it will try to bring in the pages here. So basically, what is that understanding, guys? There the entire program will be the task will be moved to the temp storage. Okay, that is called as swapping, the entire swapping of the memory. Here it is paging. It is only moving the page from one place to the other. That is the difference between swapping and the paging. Any question, guys, in this? Or you're clear
See,
with the concept, right?
ROM is nothing but hard drive, right? So
Hard drive,
ROM is nothing
yeah.
but a hard drive, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the temp memory is a buffer memory. The buffer memory is a part of part of hard drive only, right? So it's a part of hard drive
Virtual,
only, right? It's or part
yeah,
of
yeah.
JVM.
See, that is what I'm saying. In your task manager, anytime if you go and see, no, say in my machine it is a 8 GB RAM. Okay, did you see it is if it is showing 8 GB here? Anytime did you observe that? No, nowhere it will be 8 GB. There will be a buffer memory. It will not be there in the RAM. Did you observe that
Yes.
in your machine also? If your machine is a 8 GB machine, means nowhere you can see 8 GB completely.
Yes. Agreed.
That is where your this temp memory concept is coming.
Okay. So temp memory, how much need to maintain for a certain JVM configuration? So who will decide that? And generally,
No.
suppose I have a 32 GB RAM, right? Suppose I have 32 GB RAM. In that particular case, temp memory, how much size you will maintain, or it's a default come with OS?
See, I think you have a confusion. This RAM and things that are referring is a OS level. Okay, what you are referring is a JVM level. Okay, here it is a OS level alone. Okay, but JVM allocation, if you are talking about JVM allocation, how a JVM should be defined, that logic if you are asking me, it is 1/4. Whatever the RAM that you are having, you can have a, say like 8 GB, you can have 2 GB of a heap size. That is a different concept, Narendra. Okay, so when we are going for this garbage collection JVM architecture, right, that time I will explain in detail. But what we discussed now, it is a infrastructure, OS related. This
Yes.
and that are different concepts. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Narendra, sure. So like that, we are going to do the Linux monitoring as well, and then the database monitoring, Oracle. So I'll show you how people can install. Say in my example, I installed Oracle Enterprise Manager Express Edition 12c. Okay, in my machine, I will be showing you how I did the installation and the configuration, and then we are going to do a AWR reports and ADDM reports. Okay, basically I'll also show you ASH report also, session history, AWR report through that ADDM reports, and then I'll show you different DB performance issues. Say like if it is a parsing issue, or is it something related to CPU issue, or is it something related to query level, like that we are going to discuss during that session. And then the client side performance monitoring, this is very important, guys. I would say the entire market interest or the stream now it is moving towards end user experience. Okay, this is very, I don't know in your organizations and all they started talking or what, but this is need of the hour now, because everyone should focus on the client side performance, client side understanding, basically, because now what is happening, people are moving towards this mobile applications, right? Mobile applications, or people are telling about, if I am accessing this application, how my experience is there, how my end user experience is there. If I am not satisfied, what will I say? I'll say I'll go out of this application. I will tell to my friends, don't use this application, this is worst application ever that I used. So what is happening, it is like a review. It is like your reputation will go if your client side or your end user experience is not good. So that is the reason people are focusing more on the client side performance nowadays. So we'll also learn that. Okay, using this I'll explain through dev tools. I'll explain through GTmetrix. I'll explain through web page test. I'll explain through Lighthouse. So basically we'll have an understanding that how your browser is working. How, see, till day I don't know how many of them understands how your HTML, how your say JS, how your CSS are loading. What is document object model, what is CSS object model, what is render tree, what is render blocking. Like this, there are concepts are there. So in this course journey we are going to learn that as well, so that going forward when you are accessing the application, you will be telling that it is a client side issue? Is it a DB side issue? Is it a application side issue? Like that, you can easily categorize, guys. Okay, so that's the way we are going to learn this client side performance as well. And then the next one is code profiling. As I mentioned, this JProfiler tool we are going to learn. I'm going to share the dump of JProfiler to you guys. It is a commercial tool. Okay, so that what will I do? I'll run a program in Eclipse. I will integrate that Eclipse with the JProfiler. How the memory, how the garbage collection, how threads are behaving, right? That I'm going to show you a real sample so that you can understand that. And also, as I mentioned, I'm the one who is taking the Dynatrace session in the dedicated Dynatrace course journey is available in Isha Trainings solution. So there we are doing that. Here also we are bringing that knowledge, because as a performance engineer you should know one particular performance application performance monitoring tool. So that is the reason we are bringing this understanding as well. So, and also the next is the real world experience sharing, like in realistic world, what are all the possible issues can come, what are all the network issue may come, memory issue, CPU issue, garbage issue, JVM issue, thread issue, like that, how we are going to approach it. Because basically now, I don't know how many of them in this forum are performance testers. You will prepare a script, parameterize, correlate, inject the transaction, some error handling, execute the scenario, design the scenario, execute the scenario, prepare a report, submit it, that's all. Nothing will be there. Okay. But post execution, post submission of the report, how many of them analyze, is it a infrastructure issue, or is it a JVM issue, or is it a garbage collection issue, like that? No, nobody used to usually do. Okay, I don't know whether there are people will be doing it, but usually people will not do because of the time constraint, one thing, and then knowledge of the performance tester will be limited to the performance testing activity. So now if you are completing this course journey, you will have that understanding as well. So not only testing you will do, you will go beyond certain things, like you will say, like you will ask somebody to collect the garbage collection, or you will collect the garbage collection. You can ask somebody to do a heap dump and thread dump, or you do the heap dump and thread dump. You are asking somebody to do a Oracle, if it is Oracle DB, you will be saying, like AWR reports you can take it, ADDM reports you can take it, analyze it, understand it, query tuning, like that. You can either you do it, or you do the recommendations for the others to do that activity. So that's the way your exploring will be there going forward. Okay, so these are the extensive topics that we are going to cover as part of the performance engineering course journey. I'll stop here. Maybe anybody have any question, guys, till now?
Yes, Srinivas, I have a question. So, what is
Yeah,
the difference between Puffmon, Nmon, and this Dynatrace?
Perfmon, it is like just a minute. You go to your run and then enter perfmon and enter here. It is actually monitoring my Windows machine now. Okay, you can see it is processing. My CPU utilization is somewhere trending between 80 to 40. You are able to see this in now, right?
Yes, yes.
This is perfmon. Okay, in this, what are all the metrics are there? What is the infrastructure monitoring that you are going to do? That I'm going to explain. Okay, nmon is nothing but in Linux machine, there is a utility that you have to run it. Okay, that will collect the CPU, memory, all the metrics, and then basically, just a minute. Basically, it will provide a report in Linux server. Actually, I copied the Linux server report into my Windows server. Okay, this is the Linux server report. Basically, this is a nmon report. If you're I don't know, Linux machine monitoring, those who are doing, no, they never used to give a lot of metrics, guys. I observed that. I observed those who are monitoring a Linux machine, no, they never give any infrastructure representation to the stakeholder. But what we are bringing in here, you have different things are there. Say it is a summary. Okay, this is a information, like disk level information, CPU level information, CPU summary level information, disk size, disk busy, and you have lot other things are there. This is actually a nmon report, Pati. Okay, So this is a way you are going to do. How you are going to do, what you are going to do, how you are going to analyze the report, that will be doing in our course. Okay, that is about the NMA. Okay, Dynatrace is nothing but Dynatrace is nothing but it is a end-to-end performance application performance management tool. Okay, there are concepts like one agent. There is a one agent. You have to install it in your either app server or DB server, and you are going to do the so you are going to do the monitoring with respect to DB, monitoring with respect to network, monitoring with respect to. I'll show you the Dynatrace tool, guys. Don't worry. I'll show you how to create an account in Dynatrace and how to do your monitoring with respect to synthetic, with respect to real user, with respect to network, with respect to your database, host level monitoring. All these information will be covering it. That is a end-to-end performance management tool. That's the difference between these three, Pati. Clear?
Using Nmon also we can get application database and
That
VAS
no,
versus CPU and memory utilization, right? Using Nmon also.
that is all a static monitoring only. Say I got a graph. If I double click it anywhere, it is giving me any information. Why, what reason it came like this? Will that give anything, Pati?
Okay.
But in Dynatrace, if you double click that, it will go till the code level. It will say this particular query, this particular method took the reason for the increase in response time, increase in CPU, increase in memory. This is a particular reason like that. Till that level we can go in Dynatrace. Okay,
Yeah.
basically these tools are kind of a static monitoring tool. Whatever this Perfmon or the Nmon are there, right? Those are all a static monitoring tool which will not have investigation, recommendation. Those things will not be investigation possible. Recommendation or the exact pinpoint of the things is little hard. But in Dynatrace, it is very easy to identify what is the reason behind this increase in CPU, increase in memory, increase in heap, increase in response time, increase in throughput, increase like that. You will go n number of understanding. We'll see that in detail, Pati. Okay, we have that session, right? So in that session, we'll be understanding each and everything in a clear way.
Yeah. Thank you, Srinivas.
Sure, Pati.
Saranan, I have a generic question like, no, why performance engineer is required in this agile model? Why? Because every manager is talking like, then developer will manage everything, right? So why? Because they will have a better idea rather than a QA person to monitor all the logs level, and they have better understanding on thread and all these JVMs concepts and all, right? So a developer
Who?
can fulfill all the things, right? So the managers are feeling like that, right? So why a performance engineer is
Yeah.
especially required?
Yeah, Narendra, I'll tell you. Performance engineers understanding, learning, experience is more towards performance fine tuning. Okay, but developers understanding or developers knowledge, it need not be related to that. I saw in my experience, I saw close to some 1,500 developers interacted with many people. Okay, but their intention is functionality should work. They will not think about performance should be super. No, they never think like that. I saw many fresher developers, they will not say, I'll tell you, if I am a fresher developer, came to your team, you are a senior person. Narendra is a very senior person, writing the code for 10 years or 15 years. I'm a fresher developer, right? I will have certain hesitation to talk to you, understand certain things. What will I do? Uh, uh, I need to do a functionality code to be written. What will I do? If check it for Narendra script should be working. else my script should be working. Like that, people used to write the code. I saw many people, they never even touch the core code. They will never touch the core code, but they will write their code, because they will say like, no, how can I ask that senior guy what he will think about me? Like that, people will think in their mind, and they will not touch the source code, core code, and they'll write their own code. But for the end user, what they will think, the functionality is working, the functionality is working good. As far as I know, I clicked the button, I got the response. But internally, if you see, there is a code base for the senior person, and there is a code base for the junior person. Somebody has to do the review and then merge these two things and then make it a standard fine-tuned code, right? That has to be done. But actually saying it has to be done from the senior person who is doing the code review. Okay, but in many organizations, this code review things is not at all happening. They are simply creating the script, deploy it into the prod environment, their production outage is coming, and then they are doing the recovery action. So all in all, answer to your question, it has to be actually done by the developer, but they are not doing it. But if they are not doing it, we cannot leave that as such, right? So appoint a specialized person for doing that activity. That is performance engineer. Clear?
Okay. Okay. If suppose if those will be monitored by any senior guy, right? So all the code merge activities and all, then will it be fine, or it's a kind of
No.
generic only? Yes.
Yeah, that also, again, see, if you're asking me, I'll talk for whole day, but I'll precise my answers. Say that developer is super good in their development activity, but that developer need not be super good in UI development, correct? That developer, it need not be super good in DB database side. That developer, it need not be super good in capacity planning. That developer need not be doing in architectural design. So that's the way this performance engineer is contributing in that way. But I'm not saying that one performance engineer solution for everything. No, even I'm not telling that. But at least performance engineer can provide in multiple streams of activity, right? Multiple streams of activity, will be good. That is how the performance engineer should be. There are people will say, guys, one performance engineer should handle everything. Nowhere possible in industry, I never seen that kind of a performance engineer who is doing uh, there is a term, right? Full stack developer. There is nothing called full stack performance engineer. No, they'll be good in certain things, they'll be very strong in certain things. There are database level, they will be very very strong, but in the other space they will contribute. They'll say, this recommendation I'm providing, you fix it. But I saw one performance engineer who is based out in Kerala. That guy, actually he was good in the application side, good in DB, good in infrastructure. But that guy also told, in UI side, because of latest HTML5 and all came, I usually provide recommendations for that page. Remaining and all, I used to do the fixing. Like that, I saw performance engineer. So answer to your question, Narendra, the developer is good in their own task, but they may not be good in the other spaces and all, infrastructure monitoring, capacity planning, or the client side performance monitoring, DB side performance monitoring and all. They may not be that great, right? That time, anyways, you need to have a replacement for that activity with other. So what we are, all in all, what we are trying to do, the performance engineer will be certain places he will be good in providing the recommendations. Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Afin, answer to your... Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah.
So when we are implementing APM tool like Dynatrace or AppDynamics, so do we need to implement this Perform or Anmon, because APM tool itself provides all matrices.
No,
So,
if you are going for a Dynatrace, I don't think these things are required. It'll Dynatrace itself sufficient to get all
yeah.
the... In Dynatrace, there is a host monitoring is there, host monitoring license. Okay, if you are having that, you don't require all these things.
Oh,
Okay, did I
yeah.
answer your question, Cyril? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Afin, answer to your question. Yeah. See, knowing that Java coding will be a value add here, because it is, I'm not saying that you should be guru in everything, but knowing that will be a value add of it. Okay. Any further question, guys? So if you do not have any further question, guys, uh, those who are interested for proceeding with the course, please reach out to Kumar sir. Please reach out to Kumar sir. This is Kumar sir number. For further details related to course and further details related to commercials, you please contact Kumar sir for further information. As per our planning, tomorrow we are planning to start the day one performance engineering session. Those who are interested, please talk to Kumar sir. Okay, this is his number, +91 801995247. Please reach out to Kumar sir for any further information. And then thanks each and everyone for joining this demo session. Thanks for giving this opportunity to me to share this experience or share the knowledge with you people. I hope we are all going to travel in this course journey of performance engineering. I expect everyone to be available to go through this course journey to learn performance engineering, so that at the end of the journey we can say I know all the concepts related to performance engineering. Okay, guys. Thanks again. Thanks everyone for joining this demo session. Have a nice day.
Saravanan, and what kind of mode, no? What are the teaching, mode you are going to do? So in only weekdays or even weekend also you are planning to take, and what's the
No, this is
what's the
only
plan
weekdays.
actually?
This is only
Okay.
weekdays now.
5 days.
5 days. 5 days.
5. Okay.
Yeah, 5 days. Time slot is this time slot what we are having, which is 7 to 8, right? 7 to 8 Indian time. The same time for the US students also. So this is a time slot, and we are planning to have minimum of 25 hours. It may go till 30 hours. Okay. Sometimes some topics, if we are going to have a very detailed understanding, that time only. Other than that, it is minimum of 25 hours we are planning to go with. Okay, guys. Okay for everyone. Okay.
Hey, Saravanan, I have one question.
Yeah. Firdaus, yeah. Am I
So,
pronouncing correctly? Firdaus only, right? Yeah.
yeah, for those.
Yeah.
So, all those Java application, right? So you will share with us like tools in our local machine in the Eclipse and all those server installation, all those things you will show us like how step by step.
Everything step by step, each and everything step by step. I'm going to share through Google Drive the sample application. Okay. And then how to install Apache Tomcat server. In that, how to deploy your application. Everything will be step by step. Firdaus. We'll
Oh
do that.
gosh. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks all. Thanks for joining this demo session. Have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.